Shemai, hello and thank you to the Opportunity Finance Network for inviting me to recognize the Cook Inlet Lending Center as the 2020 recipient of the Native CDFI Catalyst Award. This recognition is well earned, as the Cook Inlet Lending Center has played a key role in helping small businesses and individual borrowers emerge from the financial hardships brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. The work of Native community development financial institutions, like the Cook Inlet Lending Center, is incredibly important. Now, as you know, access to traditional lending institutions like commercial banks or even community banks can be limited in tribal communities due to many factors such as geographic isolation, lack of reliable broadband, and historical racial inequalities. The unique trust and restricted status of many tribal lands can also cause traditional financial institutions to shy away from working on projects in tribal communities. So I greatly appreciate the role that Native CDFIs play in delivering capital, credit, and financial services to tribal communities across the country. And the continued efforts by the Opportunity Finance Network and Native CDFIs will ensure that Native communities have the chance to exercise self-determination and be lifted out of poverty. Native CDFIs have the capacity to understand the complexities of financing projects within tribal communities, but also the flexibility to take on the specific challenges that arise when tribal members seek to finance projects in their own areas. And that flexibility is why the Cook Inlet Lending Center was so key in helping small businesses and tribal lenders access much-needed financing during the trying times of 2020. Even though the center was incorporated to help individuals access financial resources to pursue the goal of home ownership, the COVID-19 pandemic exposed a need for new types of capital investment. The Cook Inlet Lending Center's pivot to help those suffering economic impacts from the pandemic resulted in a key partnership with the municipality of Anchorage that allowed the Cook Inlet Lending Center to help administer financial resources to community members on the municipality's behalf. It's these types of innovative partnerships that should be celebrated, as we are today. So again, congratulations to the Cook Inlet Lending Center on this recognition. Take care.
I started Native Construction Management about 5 years ago, the concept for it. The reason I started it is I wanted to go into business for myself so I could fully serve my Native communities. Before the pandemic hit, the business was going really well. We were getting a lot of large projects in the commercial sector, and once the pandemic hit, a lot of those projects were put on hold or canceled. I learned about Cook Inlet Lending Center probably about 6 months ago. I had applied for a grant through the Cook Inlet and was awarded the grant, and that was substantially helpful within our business. We were in a place where we had some receivables that were not coming in because some village communities were shut down, the council offices were shut down, the people that signed the checks were under quarantine. The grant helped to bridge payroll, help with ordering materials to keep other projects going, and to help with some overhead operations that we had to take care of too. With Cook Inlet Lending Center, the motivation that they put out there with the work that they do, it's you know, they have the energy for it, and you can tell they really believe in minority-owned businesses.
We do our work on the land that's been the place of the Dena'ina people, where they've hunted and fished for generations. We're respectful of that land, and it's why we always frame our work around people and place.
The small business lending program that Cook Inlet Lending Center provides was really founded to support the mom and pop shops, the mechanics who work out of their garage, the single mothers who are doing hair in their homes, in order to essentially hopefully thrive with that business in the future. March of 2020 hits COVID-19 hits, to say that the Lending Center had to pivot is an understatement. The Lending Center devised a strategy called Survive, Adapt, Thrive. And essentially this was a stabilization strategy for small businesses. We felt that it was a simple strategy. I say simple because it involved basically 3 legs to a stool. One was the survive component, which essentially is grant funding that businesses would not have to pay back, so that they could have some peace of mind that they would be able to make payroll, that they would be able to have some short-term working capital in order to survive. The adapt component of Survive, Adapt, Thrive is really a short-term loan product with flexible terms, such as a deferred payment or a deferred repayment period. The Thrive component of the Survive, Adapt, Thrive strategy was essentially a short to medium-term loan, maybe 5 to 10 years, fixed interest rate, at or below market rate, in order for companies to, after they've been able to adapt to the situation of the pandemic, hopefully be able to grow.
When the municipality of Anchorage made the decision to deploy tens of millions of dollars in COVID relief funding, we knew that as an organization, we could step up and help address the needs of the Alaska Native and American Indian people who lived in the municipality of Anchorage. But we also understand that our well-being, that their well-being is tied to the well-being of the broader community. And with that in mind, we agreed to step up and help the municipality deploy those relief resources to the broader community. What that has meant is that by the time everything is said and done, we'll have deployed about $30 million in COVID-19 relief grant resources to more than 2,200 small businesses, to hundreds of nonprofits, all of which provide really critical services to the people who live in the communities we serve.
The Native CDFI Catalyst Award was just an amazing gift. First, here we sit in Anchorage, Alaska. Sometimes we don't think we're part of the rest of the world, and to receive an award that says we're doing good really meant a lot. To receive an award that says we're catalyzing you with $100,000 to invest in your capacity was so important for our growth, our opportunity to help other people, and our small businesses here in this town and in this state. It was critical for us. We're grateful.
You know, our team has been working tirelessly over the past year and a half administering this grant relief program, and to be able to see a business like Arthur Stevens' business now at a stage where he feels more comfortable approaching an option for debt financing. It feels like we're moving from the survive stage through the adapt stage, and hoping to be to a stage where we can help these businesses thrive again.